Marcus was at the state capitol when his phone buzzed. Not a call, a video. He almost ignored it until he saw the name. Angela. He tapped play. The screen filled with the image of his little sister, standing at a gas pump, surrounded by two uniformed officers. Her voice was steady. Her hands didn't shake. But Marcus didn't miss the way one of the officers leaned in too close, the way his smirk turned into something darker. Marcus clenched his jaw as the words hit him. "Women like you should know your place." He paused the video. His office door was closed, but he swore the air in the room shifted. It wasn't just anger. Marcus was used to anger. This was something sharper, personal. He hit play again, watching her calmly tell them the conversation was being documented. Watching one officer's face falter, the other still laughing like nothing mattered. By the time the clip ended, Marcus's hands were gripping the edge of his desk so tight his knuckles were white. He wasn't just her brother, he was the governor. And in his state, that meant he had more than words. He had power. He picked up the phone. "Get me the director of public safety," he said. The line didn't even ring twice before the voice on the other end answered, cheerful and unsuspecting. "Governor, what can I do for—" Marcus didn't waste time on pleasantries. "I'm sending you something. You're going to watch it. Then you're going to tell me exactly how fast we can deal with these officers." There was a pause on the other end. "Sir, with all due respect, complaints are usually handled—" "This isn't a complaint," Marcus cut in. "It's a warning." He hung up before the man could answer. Then he forwarded the video. Minutes later, the director called back. His voice wasn't cheerful anymore. "Governor, I understand your concern. But you know the unions, the process. It's not as simple as—" Marcus leaned back in his chair, voice dropping low. "Let me make something clear. This isn't politics. This is my sister. If your process can't protect her, I'll make sure your replacement finds one that can." Silence. Then, "I'll handle it." Meanwhile, Angela was at home, sitting at her kitchen table. Her phone buzzed every few seconds. Texts from friends, messages from co-workers who'd heard whispers of what happened. She hadn't posted the video yet. Not because she was afraid, but because timing was everything. The front door opened and Marcus stepped inside. He didn't smile, didn't take off his coat. He just walked over, pulled out the chair across from her, and sat down. "You okay?" he asked. Angela nodded. "I'm fine." He studied her face for a moment. "You know I'm going to deal with this." "I know," she said softly. "But I don't want them gone because you're the governor. I want them gone because they're wrong." Marcus leaned forward. "They'll be gone for both reasons." Angela reached for her mug of tea, eyes locked on his. "You really think they'll just roll over?" Marcus almost smiled. They don't know who they're dealing with. The next morning, the video hit the internet. Not from Marcus's office, not from any official channel, from Angela's own account. Within hours, it spread like wildfire, clips on news sites, threads on social media, comment sections filled with outrage. By noon, reporters were camped outside the police precinct. By 3 p.m., national outlets were running the headline, "Governor's sister harassed by local police." The officers were pulled from active duty pending investigation, but Marcus knew pending was just another word for stalling. That night, as the city buzzed with protests and press conferences, Marcus got another call. Not from the director of public safety, not from the police chief, from someone else entirely. "Governor Parker," the voice said smoothly. "I think you should stop." Marcus frowned. "And who exactly am I speaking to?" "Someone who understands that you've made powerful enemies this week, the kind that don't wear badges." Marcus leaned back, his voice even. "You called me to threaten me?" "To warn you," the voice said. "Because the people you're poking at, they won't go after you. They'll go after her." Marcus didn't sleep that night. Neither did Angela. By morning, a brick had been thrown through her front window. No note, no name, just a warning in broken glass. Marcus stood in her living room, looking at the shards on the floor. The air between them was thick, not just with fear, but with the understanding that this had gone beyond two cops at a gas station. "This isn't about the video anymore," Angela said quietly. "They want you to back off." Marcus's eyes were cold. "Then they're going to find out just how stubborn I can be." That afternoon, Marcus called in every favor he had. Lawyers, investigators, reporters who owed him stories. He wasn't just going after two officers anymore. He was pulling the thread until the whole knot unraveled. But somewhere in the city, in a dark office with no windows, two men were watching the same video of Angela. One leaned forward, tapping the screen. "She's the weak link. He moves for her, not for himself." The other nodded slowly. "Then we don't touch the governor." He smiled. "We touch her world." Angela sat in her apartment, phone in hand, staring at the video she'd recorded at the gas station. Every frame felt heavier than the last. The smirks, the way one officer circled her like a wolf, the words that still burned in her ears. "Women like you should know your place." She had already sent the clip to Marcus, her brother, but she didn't expect what came next. Within minutes, her phone lit up with his voice, sharp and steady. "Don't go anywhere. I'm coming to you." By the time Marcus arrived, the calm she'd been clinging to all night was unraveling. She opened the door, and he stepped in with the weight of someone who'd just stepped out of a storm. His tailored suit was slightly wrinkled, his tie loosened. He hadn't even stopped by his office first. "Angela," he said, scanning her face like he was looking for bruises. "Are you okay?" She nodded, though her grip on her phone tightened. "I'm fine, but I'm done pretending this is just another bad night." Marcus took the phone from her, replaying the video. He didn't blink, didn't flinch. When it ended, he simply said, "They don't know who they were dealing with, but they're about to." The next morning, Angela woke up to the sound of her phone buzzing non-stop. She checked it and froze. The video was everywhere, not just local news, national networks, social media, comment sections exploding with outrage, hashtags trending, number know your place, number Angela Parker, number Governor Sister. Reporters were calling her a symbol of quiet resistance. Activists were organizing protests in front of the police department. And the officers? They'd been placed on administrative leave pending investigation, a polite way of saying they'd been sent home until the noise died down. Marcus wasn't satisfied. Angela stood beside him as cameras flashed. The air was thick with tension. Marcus stepped up to the podium. "What happened to my sister is not an isolated incident. It is the daily reality for too many people in this state. I'm not here just as her brother. I'm here as governor, and as a man who knows what it's like to be stopped, questioned, and treated as if you don't belong." Every word hit like a hammer. He announced a full review of police conduct across the state, mandatory bias training, and the creation of a civilian oversight board with the power to discipline officers directly. Angela glanced at the crowd, some faces hopeful, others skeptical, but she knew this was bigger than her now. Later, that week, Angela returned to the same gas station, not for drama, just to fill her tank. A few people recognized her, smiling, nodding, even thanking her. But as she finished pumping, a black SUV rolled up. No lights, no sirens. The driver's window slid down just enough for a voice to drift out. "You've made some powerful enemies, Ms. Parker." Angela's pulse quickened. She couldn't see the man's face. "Who are you?" she asked, keeping her voice even. The SUV didn't answer. It simply rolled away, slow and deliberate, like it wanted her to know she'd been marked. Angela replayed the moment over and over in her head. She wasn't scared exactly, but she understood the message. This wasn't just about two cops anymore. This was about the system, the people who kept it running, and the shadows that liked it just the way it was. Marcus called to check on her, but she didn't tell him about the SUV. Not yet. She didn't want to hand her brother another war to fight, at least not until she knew who the enemy was. 1 month later, the officers who stopped her were fired, publicly, their names, photos, and records released. The oversight board was up and running. Marcus's approval ratings had skyrocketed. And Angela, she'd been offered speaking engagements at universities, interviews on morning shows, even a book deal. She declined most of them. She hadn't gone through this for fame. She just wanted people to see what she saw every day, that sometimes survival means standing your ground without raising your voice. Angela is walking to her car after leaving a late-night community meeting. The parking lot is mostly empty. She hears footsteps behind her. She turns, no one there. She shakes it off, unlocking her car. As she's about to get in, her phone buzzes. Unknown number. She answers. Silence. "We warned you, Miss Parker. You think this is over? It's just beginning." The line goes dead. Angela stands there, heart pounding, her reflection staring back from the dark car window. Somewhere deep down, she knows. This fight isn't over. Not even close. Power should never be used as a weapon to humiliate or intimidate, because authority without integrity is just another form of injustice. Sometimes the most powerful act of resistance is knowing when to speak and having the courage to back your words with truth.